So apparently there's a new Insidious movie out in theaters now, which kind of caught me off guard because I thought this franchise died 10 years ago. But here we are in 2026, keeping the ball rolling. We're moving on with Out of the Further. Now, I've heard a good blend about this film. Some people have said it's one of the best of the franchise, and other people are saying it's cooked. The franchise is done. So Insidious Out of the Further is directed by Jacob Chase, and it stars Amelia Eve, Island Austin, Lynn Shay, and others. What is the movie about? So it follows a girl named Gemma who, when she's young, she sees her mom take her own life, undergoing this psychiatric episode. Movie starts off, we flash forward 20 years, and now she's a single mom of a daughter named Maya. And the same course of events starts playing out in her life. She starts undergoing these episodes, starts to get answers that she has an attachment to the Further, like a lot of other people in this franchise. Long story short, to sum it all up, there's this entity in the Further who's trying to latch on to Gemma and Maya and get all of the dead from the Further to make their way back to the living world, which on the surface is a pretty interesting idea. Now, it's not very unique to this franchise because, again, I feel like this is a franchise that really exhausted its hand like 5 movies ago. But regardless, if you're going to try something new, you have some decent scare setups or something, you could possibly win me over. I mean, this is not a franchise I love or anything, so if you do the bare minimum, I'm probably going to have at least a pretty decent time with it compared to the other movies. And I'm here to report, even though I have massive issues with this movie, this might actually be my favorite Insidious movie upon leaving it. I think this movie, if you're a fan of this franchise, will at least give you guys the things that it has come to be known for. I think the scare setups here, the tension, and some of the world building related to the Further is actually some of the strongest of the franchise. And we're going to stick with that. I think the scare setups here, some of the locations, they do show a couple of the best bits in the trailer, but I think specifically there's one setup scene related to a blanket fort. Kind of gave me Backroom vibes, and I was really digging that setup. Overall, I was actually digging this movie a good bit for the first hour. It's only a 90-minute movie or so, but the first hour or so of this movie was really fast-paced. The opening scene's like a 15-minute setup scene. It's just right into the scares, relentless about it. Then you get a great blanket fort scene again, which I thought was very creepy. It was very well shot. Some very cool technical elements on display with this movie, especially in the first half. I think the scare setups are very, very good for this franchise. Some of the best scares of all of these movies combined. You get a pretty cool scene in a dentist's office here. You get another couple of cool scenes in the Further. I thought some of the creature design or some of the looks of the people in the Further, the undead characters, was pretty unsettling. Sure, if you break it down, this movie is just another version of a horror film, which is basically old people are kind of weird looking, so they're scary. That's kind of the central theme to Insidious as a franchise. If you don't find old people to be creepy, then you're not going to get a lot of creeps out of this movie in general. But still, I'll give the movie props. I think Jacob Chase, as a director, knows how to frame things. He knows how to set things up and mislead you. Now, the jump scares, nothing to write home about. There's one I thought was actually really good related to the blanket fort. Aside from that, I pretty much saw all of the scares coming a mile away. A couple of them are decently effective, but nothing you've never seen before when it comes to this franchise, but that might not matter to you because this is a franchise that's kind of doing the same thing over and over again for the third time. The main character here, played by Amelia Eve, kind of a weird character because I would have sworn on my life that it was a different actress playing this character every scene based on her emotional state and based on her makeup and based on her outfits. I swear this character never looked the same. I don't know if it was just me. I kept getting caught off guard like, did they recast this movie halfway through? Because when the movie starts off, she looks kind of like the girl from the original season of You who plays Gwen. And then as the movie goes along, I would have sworn to God it was Naomi Watts playing this character. This character just kept morphing looks. So again, I would be interested to know down below if you guys saw this movie, if you thought the same as me. I thought this character never looked the same and it kept catching me off guard. You also have a couple of goofy characters in this movie. You have a boyfriend here that really serves no central purpose besides being the exposition dump love arc, because even when you're introduced to this character, they kind of explain to you that this relationship is not very serious. The only time he sees his girlfriend is when she's doing his dental hygienics, which makes no sense because the longer this movie goes on, the more this guy's willing to throw his career away and get into this lucrative shit going on related to the Further, as if he believes in any of that. And it was established 20 minutes prior. They don't really even know each other. They even say in the introduction scene that he has never met her daughter Maya. So why this guy is so invested in this relationship? I guess dudes really are simps for hot chicks. This movie is just a tale of two halves. You have the scary sections of the movie, which I would, give a thumbs up maybe. And then you have the story section of this movie that, holy shit, is it a massive thumbs down. I mean, this is one of the most convolutedly lazy stories ever in a franchise that I don't think has ever been very original from a storytelling perspective. But man, in the back half of this movie, I mean, the first hour of this, I was digging it a pretty good bit. It was watchable. It was flying through. This is one of the most abomination third acts I have seen in a while. I mean, Crash and fucking burn. This movie has one of the worst final 20-minute third acts I have seen of the entire year. I mean, whoever wrote this, it is just bonkers this movie got put into light. Even the way it starts off, you're on some Ocean's 11 shit. We have all the characters standing around formulating a game plan of how to go into the further and tackle this entity like a football coach drawing up plays. It is so convoluted. It is so weird and oddly specific how they're going to orchestrate this, as if everybody in this movie knows all the storylines. They know how to answer all of the plot lines. Okay, so Gemma, you're going to go into the further. You're going to listen to my voice. You're going to look for a red door, not a blue door, not a green door, but a red door. You're going to go in the red door. He's going to follow you because fuck it. That's what he does. Maya, you're going to be lingering. You looking with me? Stay with me. Maya, you're going to go into the further as well, or you're not going to go into the further. I kind of forgot what you're going to do. Token boyfriend Nick, you're going to find the acolytes, okay? You're going to pull their gas pumps out. If anything, you're going to kill them. You're going to take them out of the further because they're going to be bodyguarding the red door. And we got to use the red door, not the green door, not the blue door, the red door. Then there's going to be this guy. He's going to try to latch onto and come back to life. He can kind of summon the dead, but he can't summon the dead. He's kind of this charismatic leader, but we don't really know what the fuck this guy is. And you're probably wondering, who am I? I'm a tattoo artist. I'm the exposition dump character who just tattoos on grapefruit and tells you the exposition of all of the plot lines. Meanwhile, you have the entire cast of this movie listening to this batshit insane explanation of going into the further and stopping this entity like, that's good. That's good. Yes. So the red door, the red door. Like, nobody's going to question this. Like, I understand horror movies have to do this because this movie's attempting to be bigger and bolder and kind of build more of a world than the previous movies when it comes to the entity. It was just insane to watch. And the sad thing is, the longer the third act went, the more ridiculous and the more stupid it all got. Because by the end of this movie, you're basically dealing with the Avengers. The way this movie ends up going and some CGI scene you get, which is supposed to be the big plot twist right before the end. Some characters living, some characters dying, the explanation of how all of that happens. It's like they just started throwing darts at a fucking dartboard saying, hey guys, we made a pretty good movie. We had some pretty decent scares. Let's wrap this shit up. We're running out of budget. It's just the most tried and true example ever of writing this big bad, very cool villain that feels insurmountable, but at the same time forgetting that you have to be able to conclude it without making it seem ridiculously dumb. Kind of reminded me of like Galactus from the most recent Fantastic Four when you have this giant guy who can eat the planets. And that's just so cool. You know, you're like, how are we going to beat this guy? The threat feels insurmountable. Or Thanos after Infinity War. And then you get to Endgame and you're like, okay, the writing's cutting a couple of corners here to undo all of this because we've written a villain who's so cool and so larger than life and insurmountable, there's no way we could possibly beat him. And Insidious Out of the Further is another example of that type of writing, where you write a pretty cool plot line in theory, and the longer it goes on and the more the threads start getting loose and the more you're trying to wrap all of this up, the dumber and the more asinine the movie has to get, because that's how you'd have to conclude a storyline that went in that direction. So again, this entire movie is just a tale of two halves. If you don't care about that type of shit and you are just here for scares and thrills, this movie's probably going to be at least a pretty decent time for you in the Insidious franchise. If you're somebody looking for more of a plot line or you're looking for something more unique, when you see the tagline of Out of the Further, it's definitely different than the other movies, but this movie's writing is just a absolute catastrophe. I'm honestly going to say that. It was a decent one-time watch. The longer it went on, the more my brain just started wondering about what I was going to eat when I got home. But overall, I had a pretty decent time with this one. I'd still recommend in hindsight, wait for streaming. It's not going anywhere. So if you guys saw Insidious Out of the Further, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this movie, your thoughts on the franchise. Did you find the back half of this movie to be as garbage as I did? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. I do even respond to the comments. As always, if you like this review, my name is Sean. Like, comment, subscribe, hype the video, join the channel down below. Become a channel member to support me. But other than that, guys, I'll see you all in the next review. Peace.